All right, thanks for tuning in to our Daytona 500 preview edition of Prime Sports NASCAR. And can't wait to get it going here for the 2021 NASCAR Cup season. You can see Eric is not in his backyard. The reason
Not this time.
Yeah, the reason we have him with a really nice skyline there is for a purpose. That's Daytona, baby. And that's where Eric is going to be all weekend long. You can follow Eric on his website and also on his Twitter handle. You can check that out, of course, here up on the template, racereviewonline.net. And your Twitter is, what is it? Let me see if I can remember it. At Eric_race review.
That's it.
Hey,
good job.
Not bad.
You got it.
Okay, without even looking. And CJ Radoon from rotowire.com, who's not in Daytona.
Clearly.
All right, so let's get into the Daytona 500 now. Denny Hamlin's the odds-on favorite to capture his third straight 500. Nobody's ever accomplished this feat before. He already has 3 500 wins, so he's looking for his fourth. I said, what the heck? He's definitely got to be in my picks. What about you guys? Will Denny Hamlin be in your picks, CJ?
He is not in my picks. I just think the odds of 3 in a row is too much. I think the Joe Gibbs cars look strong, but 3 in a row, statistically speaking, just not going to happen for me.
Eric?
I did. He was on my top. I don't think he necessarily will because trends say he's not, but I thought I said that last year and he won again. So I know how bad he wants a third, and to get the odds that they still gave him, I'm like, all right, why not throw $20 his way to win 60 and try it out? So I did. I put him in only because
he's 8-1.
He's won the last 2 years. Yeah, 8-1. He's won the last 2 years. He's got 3 overall. All the drivers keep saying how good he is and how smart he is, and I think at the end of the race we're going to see some wrecks, and somehow he maneuvers his way through them, and who knows? He's either get caught up or he can win again, and for 8-1 might as well.
All right, so you're going to put 20 on Hamlin. All right. Again, I have 100. That's going to be our maximums this season, $100. That means we can wager anything from $1 to $100 on one driver, and that's pretty much how we have it. Actually, it's $100 for a pool, right?
Hold on.
Yeah. Things total. I was gonna say, whoa, I need to redo my picks there.
That's for
it's 100 total.
That's for futures.
That's for futures.
We made a lot of changes. Because we wanted to make sure that we had more reasonable money that made more sense to the average gambler out there, not big wigs who are spending thousands of dollars a week.
High rollers.
Yeah. Which we wouldn't be doing either. All right.
No.
So you have 20 on Hamlin. Let's see. Next up, let's go with the 10-1s because looks like there are 5 10-1 drivers: Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Brad Keselowski, CJ. So out of this group, Logano won the 500 in 2015. Elliott only has one top 10 in 10 Daytona races, but it was his runner-up in the Coke 0400 last year, which was the last time they raced here. So there's that. Ryan Blaney was runner-up in the Daytona 500 and also 6th in the Coke 0400. Those were his race results last year, but he's got 4 wrecks in his last 7. Keselowski, since winning the Coke 0400 in 2016, has averaged 27th in his last 8 races, 6 wrecks in his last 8. Then you have Kyle Busch, who won the Coke 0400 in 2008, but average finish of 24th in his last 8. So how are you going to go here, TJ?
So I took all of the Penske guys. I got Keselowski, Logano, and Blaney, and I added Elliott to the bunch, and I put 10 on all of them. Blaney, I think, is extremely strong. Like you said, runner-up. Very good on the restrictor plates, or it's not a restrictor plate anymore, the tapered spacer plates. Logano, former winner, clearly can win. He looked very strong in his duel as well. Keselowski, I think, looked strong in the duel until he got taken out, unfortunately. And I think his frustration's been building up with this race in particular. He's not won it. He's been good on the super speedways, so I think his time is about to come due. Then with Elliott, 200 cars on the front row. They had their problems, but we'll see. 200 cars on the front row. They got speed. And on top of that, teammate William Byron won that track last year. So I think Hendrick's got a really strong package. Chase Elliott, very smart, very calm, cool, and collected. He's got his championship. Now he just needs his Daytona 500.
All right, so again, that was those, Keselowski, Logano, Blaney, and Elliott.
All at 10, correct.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I just took Blaney and Logano at 20 again. Blaney, he's second runner-up last year. He won the Talladega race last fall. He won the last spring. He won the Talladega race the fall before that. He was sixth in the 400 last year. Runner-up in this race a few years ago again. So couldn't ignore him. And Logano, he's got 5 top 6 finishes in his last 6 tries in the 500. I just feel like he showed a lot last night. He had a car capable of winning, just got past in the last. He passed Almirola on the last lap. Almirola side drafted him back. So I feel like he's going to be there. Elliott, yeah, I feel like Hendrick, like CJ said, they really are going for a Daytona win this year. But the last defending champion to win the as the defending champion, I mean the season, to win the Daytona 500 the next year was back in 2000. I think it's only happened twice since 1978. So numbers
you don't want to win the 500
side.
too, because you don't win the championship if you win the 500.
You don't win the championship. Yep.
Is there someone who's done that?
I just feel like they won the championship and the 500. Yeah.
We got to go way back.
Yeah, I think Gordon maybe did that in 95, if I'm not mistaken. No, he didn't win the 95 to 500. No, I don't think Gordon ever did either.
Wow.
I'll have to look
at
that.
Then.
I don't know the top of my head. It's been a while. Yeah, it hasn't happened in decades.
Okay.
So I don't think Chase will win. He just seems – his Daytona stats aren't all that great other than last August. So I don't trust him. And like you said about Keselowski, I don't really trust him either. So odds are they'll get caught up in a crash, and somehow Blaney and Logano, between the two of them, I think one of them can at least get to the end.
All right, so again, Blaney and Logano, you're going to put 20 each on those two drivers.
Yep, so I'm up to 60 already between Hamlin, Blaney, and Logano.
All right, 12-1, Harvick and Almirola. Harvick won the 2007 500. He's got 2 Daytona wins, but he's averaged 24th in his last 9 races, CJ. While Almirola's got a dual win just last night. He won the Coke Zero 400. Back in 2014, he led 14 laps in that race, but has led just 10 laps in his last 11 races combined since then at Daytona. So either one of those drivers?
I did not go with either one, and both of them I didn't go with for the same reason, just one top 10, top 5 in the last 5 or 6 Daytona races. Not to say either one of them couldn't come up and win it, because anything can happen, and they're both very fast, and Almirola proved it last night. Kevin Harvick's proved it over his entire career. Just recent trends at this track in particular for both of them, I got to stay away. Put my money on other guys.
Okay, Eric?
I did 20 more, Almirola. I feel like he sold me last night. He's got a really good car with 52 of his 60 in his duel. He's a good speedway racer. Gets caught up in messes sometimes, but he said he's got a fast car. He was 3rd quickest in qualifying on Wednesday night. He said he can push, he can be pushed, and he can draft well, no matter where he's at in the draft. All the qualities that you need for a Daytona win, he's got. The only thing I'm a little leery was last night was a night race. The Daytona 500 will be run during the day, but it also is going to end at night too. So if he can get there, I think he's going to have a statement to make. And he said he made a statement last night and feels like this is his best car, the chance to win since 2018, and he should have won that race. He got spun on the backstretch by Austin.
Right.
And Harvick, for the Keselowski reasons too, and like you said, I don't trust. He said he's got a really good car, and I believe him. And I think his blueprint that showed last year to ride in the back so you can be there in the end, I believe they're probably going to do that again, but I just don't. I don't trust he can win.
All right. And next up at 16-1, we got Byron, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Martin Truex Jr. Let's see. Byron, so we talked a little bit about him already. He also has an Xfinity win at Daytona. He's led 80 laps the last 5 races, including the dual win last year. He's got a Coke Zero Sugar for 100 win. Then he wrecked, and then he had a runner-up in the Coke race. But those are the Coke races where you seem to have a little bit more success than the 500. So we'll see starting last, backup car, what happens there. Then you have Larson, no top fives in 13 races at Daytona. He led 16 laps in the 2017 Daytona 500, but he has not led a lap in the other 12 races. So once he's led laps in Daytona, 12 races, no laps for Kyle Larson, no top fives. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has got a Coke 0400 victory. He's led 121 laps over his last 7 races at Daytona. That's 17 a race. And Martin Truex Jr., runner-up in the 2016 Daytona 500 and the 2018 Coke 400. He was 4th in the Coke 400 last August, and he was 11th or better in 6 of 7 Xfinity races, including a win, CJ. Now, I remember we talked about that some years back, where it was just surprising that Martin Truex Jr. didn't have more success on these tracks, considering the success he had in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, Truex has always looked very fast in these races, but for whatever reason, something just gets him, whether it's a crash at the end, almost kind of like an Eric Almirola, where he's quick and you see his speed throughout the entire day, but then something odd, ends up happening to him. Looking at Truex in particular, he's got 2 crashes in the last 4 Daytona races. So the only guy out of this group actually that I ended up choosing was Larson, and again, it's because he's in the Hendrick machine. He has not been in that equipment before, this track before. He's got 4 top 10 finishes, all with Ganassi. Now they've got speed. He's in a Hendrick Chevrolet who's got a really good package at this track, and we know that he can make his way to the end. He's finished the last 3. 2 of them were top 10, 7th and 10th. But yeah, it'll have to be a career performance for him. I think out of that bunch, Larson's the one I was going with. And actually for the first ones, that first grouping, I was looking at the odds. I wasn't looking at the money that I was putting on them. So for Larson, I have 10. Going back to Blaney and Keselowski, I've actually got 15 each. And then Elliott and Logano, I've got 20 each.
Okay. So you still have some money left, right? Okay.
Yep.
How about you, CJ? I mean, Eric.
Eric, yeah. I got 11 on Byron. I agree with CJ. I was going to take Larson, but Byron showed me a lot last night, and these backup cars typically are very similar to the primary, so
that's nothing
I think
to
he's
be
going to have a
about.
bullet. No, I'm actually happier he's not starting the front row anymore, because the last time the outside front row starter won the Daytona 500, 1993.
Wow.
So
that's a long time.
So he's now. Yeah, he's starting in the back now. So that's so odd as this sounds.
Not bad.
I feel like his odds to me open.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, 2 top 2 finishes his last 2 400s down here. He was in the top group, I believe, the top 2 or 3 at Talladega. Then that whole debacle about going out of bounds last time around. He's really turned into a good super speedway racer. Was very aggressive last night. Won a duel last year. So I feel like for those odds, put $11 on them and give me $9 left.
11 on Byron, okay? Then we have 18-1 Bowman and 18-1 Dillon. Bowman, 7th in the Coke 400 last August. That was his best result. And then you have Dillon, who won last night in the duel, won the Daytona 500 in 2018. And he had 7 top 5s and a win in 10 Xfinity races, CJ. So Dillon's got a little something going. He had a good end of the season last season. Maybe he'd be an interesting play. What do you think about Dillon and Bowman?
Bowman I did not go with, despite the fact that he's got a lot of speed. I think he's still just got some stuff to learn here on the super speedways. Only led 1 lap, just 2 top 10 finishes at the track. He's got another pole here as well. But in total, just 18 laps led at Daytona. So that's a little bit scary for me. Austin Dillon, I really actually tried to find a way to get him into my into my wagers, but I ended up not doing it. He led 46 laps before crashing out in the fall of 2019. He was 12th here in this race last year, looking very strong. We know Richard Childress Racing has a great super speedway package, and he showed it last night again. So definitely, if you've got the ability to get Dillon into your selections, I would go forward and do it.
All right. And by the way, neither one of you guys did either one of you guys comment on Stenhouse?
No, I think I think Stenhouse can win. Absolutely. I mean, he's not in the greatest car, but even still, every time he shows up to Daytona or Talladega, he's there at the front. He's a top 5, and he could easily win. I would not be surprised at all to see Stenhouse win on Sunday.
What about you, Eric? Stenhouse and then the other two?
Exact same for CJ said. For the same reasons. I don't trust Bowman yet. He's got a fast car, but he's had fast cars in the past and hasn't turned him into anything. So I need to see it before I believe it. Dylan, I feel like last night clearly showed he's got a really good car. He's also known to go to the back to be there in the end, and I think that's what will happen. But can he win? I rode the law of averages. It didn't go with either of those three, which is odd that I went with Almirola, but I took the average. The last dual winner to win the Daytona 500 was Matt Kenseth in 2012, and that's the only time it's happened in the last 16 years that your dual winner has turned around and won the Daytona 500. So I didn't want to wager money on both dual winners. No, that beats. So I chose Almirola.
Okay, so that means Dylan
and left Dylan on the table. Yeah,
but that was last
Dylan's
year.
Probably going to win.
That was last year.
So quickly enough, Dylan got into him in 2018. But Dylan could be a factor. I think him and Stenhouse, you got to find a way to put him in if you have the money to do so.
Okay.
I went a little bit more longer odds for my other $9 that I have left.
And then here's the other one. This is further back, and I had to change the odds, but he was further back when I put this initial report together, and that's Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is 16-1, up from 25-1. He's got 2 top 5s in 7 races at Daytona. He's never led a lap at Daytona, but he was runner-up in the 2018 500 and 5th last August. So Wallace is 16-1. What about Wallace, CJ?
I put him in at 10. Yeah, he looked really good last night. He's always particularly fast, and this is the best. I'm a doubter still for the whole season, but it looks like this weekend he's definitely got something. So I had to put 10 on him.
And what about that? What about Wallace, Eric?
I agree. I didn't put anything on him only because I put it to Byron's way. Because the only thing with Bubba that scares me is like last night how dejected he was with the second place finish. So he didn't block like he thought he should, and I just feel like he's gonna almost be overly aggressive, a little bit out of line maybe on Sunday, and could get caught up in something. And so I chose Byron instead. But if he stays out of trouble, him and Byron and Almirola were the top 3 cars that I saw last night, and it'd be hard to rank them out of those 3. I think they're 1A, 1B, 1C. Okay. I like the way Wallace was. If he got shuffled at the back, he quickly found his way back up. So the only thing is, I figured if he's there in the end, and Denny Hamlin is there in the end, Denny Hamlin's probably going to be ahead of Bubba Wallace. He's just smart that way to get there. Bubba may push him to a win rather than risk wrecking both of them. That would not be a good debut to your boss to wreck him going for his 3rd Daytona 500, where you could probably stay in line and push him because he's not. The Toyotas don't have a lot of drafting help. That's a fact for this. They never do.
It would be interesting.
So we'll be interested. Yeah, if they both can be up there, that's why I went with Hamlin and Byron, but I could have just screwed myself and should have thrown it all in Bubba too. I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. And then the rest of the lot, we got Chastain at 28-1. He won the 2019 race at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. He had 7 top 10s in 13 races in the Xfinity Series. De Benedetto, 3 top 10s in his last 8 races at Daytona. Led 49 laps in the 2019 500 before wrecking at 33-1. Bell's at 33-1. He was 21st and 13th last year. Custer and Briscoe are 40-1. Reddick is 33-1. He's wrecked all 3 times in the Daytona Series. Buescher, Jones, and Newman are 50-1. Buescher is an excellent driver in these races. 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s in his last 7, including a 5th in the 18, 500, and 3rd last year on the Daytona 500. Jones won the Coke Zero race in 2018. Newman's got a 2008 500 victory and 5 top 10s in his last 7 at Daytona. Also, McDowell is 66-1, 6 top 10s and 2 top 5s in his last 14 races at Daytona. Reese was 8th in the 2019 Daytona 500, his first appearance. He wrecked in his last 3. Suarez and Priest are both 100-1. Suarez has 6 wrecks in 7 races. And then the rest, LaJoy, 3 races, wrecked, 6th, and 8th. Jamie McMurray won the '07 Pepsi 400 and the 2010 Daytona 500, and he's 66 to 1. David Reagan and Cindric are 150 to 1. Reagan won the 2011 Coke 400 and was fourth in the 500 last year. CJ, are you taking any of those drivers?
Did not take any of those drivers, though. Matt DiBenedetto is somebody I would consider. I think the Penske cars look strong, the Fords look strong. So if he can hook up with any of those guys, which I'm sure he will, he can look really strong. The one guy I probably missed as we were talking about, and he's the last one that I had a selection on, was Kurt Busch. I know that he crashed out the last two races at Daytona, but he's an excellent tapered spacer, track racer, super speedway racer. He's great in the draft, and not the greatest equipment, but somehow, some way, he's always there at the end, unless he crashes. So hopefully he doesn't crash on Sunday.
So you have 10 on Kurt Busch?
And on Kurt Busch.
20 to 1. Again, the 2017 Daytona 500 winner, leading just one lap. Since that race, his last 7, he's averaged 27th with 5 wrecks. Eric, what about Kurt Busch and the rest of the drivers?
I agree with Kurt. I didn't take him this time because I only had $9 left, so I wanted to sprinkle some longer shots. So I did 3 on Buescher. Just like you said, his stats, he seems to be a good plate racer. Roush Fenway is always good on Daytona and Talladega. That car, the 17 car, won twice with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 2017. So I feel like he'll be good. I put 3 on Newman. Why not? I mean, like you said, he's had top 8s if you go back to 2017 and all those races, but 3. So that's pretty stellar for him. Plus, what a comeback story if he can win the Daytona 500. I went on a little bit of Cinderella, $3 for that one, and then went $3 on Christopher Bell to win my money back, to at least break even. I thought he looked great last night. Finished second in the photo finish. He's with the Gibbs car. Eric Jones won in it. Eric Jones typically ran well in the 20 car on super speedways. So threw $3 that way just to get my money back. And at that point, I was out of money and I just left it alone.
All right. So let me just quickly recap. Eric, you have 20 each on Hamlin, Blaney, Logano, and Almirola. 11 on Byron. 3 each on Buescher, Newman, and Bell.
Correct.
And then CJ, you've got 20 each on Elliott and Logano. 15 on Keselowski and Blaney, 10 each on Larson, Wallace, and Kurt Busch.
You got it.
All right, and I have 25 on Hamlin, 20 on Kyle Busch, 15 on Blaney, 13 on Truex, 10 on Elliott, 10 on Wallace, 3 on Buescher, and 2 on the guy that gets no credit on this show except for me, Eric Jones.
There you go.
All right, so there you go. You going to say something, Eric?
Yeah, I was going to say, here's your trends for this
Okay.
one. This I can narrow it down. I can narrow it down to 5.
5
so
drivers.
The Pole, Bowman. Yep.
You got these on your website?
They're going to be on there tomorrow. This is going to hit tomorrow. So Bowman, the Pole, 0-1 since 2000. The second place qualifier, I'm just counting for Byron for this simple purposes because it could be Austin Dillon if he moves up. So the last second place starter to win, 1993. They've only had a top 10 4 times since 06. The Clash winner, Kyle Busch, they've only won the Daytona 500 6 times. Denny Hamlin won it in 2016. That's the only time since 1997 that a Clash winner won the Daytona 500. The duels, I just said that stat, only once since the last 16 years. So that can eliminate Almirola and Dillon. The defending champ of the Daytona 500. It's never happened 3 times in a row. Only 4 people have ever done it back-to-back. Defending Cup champ, we talked about that with Elliott. Only 5 times that's ever happened. Only twice since 1978. First-time winners, it's only happened 7 times ever. Trevor Payne was the last in 2011. You've got 18 drivers. I won't bore you guys with naming every 18 driver that's not won a Cup race. So you can eliminate them. And the 8 of the last 9 Daytona 500 winners have started in the top 7 rows. So that's the top 14. So if you eliminate everybody from that list, you end up with Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney as your final 5. And that's a pretty stout group out of those 5 that one of them could win. So I think for personal money on a side bet, I might just wager on those 5.
Okay.
And see where I end up. 77% of the Speedweek's races since 2005 have been won by Gibbs, Penske, or Hendrick. So if you narrow it down a little bit more, you got Logano, Larson, and Blaney for the win on Sunday.
So Larson, Logano, and Blaney are the top 3. And then and you include Newman and who else? Harvick.
Harvick.
All right. So that rounds out the top 5. But so top 5 and then top 3. All right.
I can narrow it down
we'll
to that.
To it.
And then if the trends work, one of those 5 are going to win on hopefully Sunday evening. So
yeah, hopefully
we'll
better
see.
Be not 20 laps and a rain delay and then a Monday race. We don't want to have that happen again.
I will say I will probably never be invited back because usually I've never had a chance to come down to Daytona to cover in February. I did last year and this year.
So
61 years, it's never been rained out. Last year it did. Does it happen 2 for 2?
Yeah, that's true. I'll let everybody know. So you're in trouble.
I just put it out there on the show, so I will be in deep trouble. Plus, I got my pregnant wife that's sitting with her friends in the drive-in in turn 3. I don't think she's going to be happy to go on Sunday in the rain and while I'm in the press box inside.
Probably not.
For a good rest of my vacation, I would rather have a good day with my wife on Monday on the beach.
I would think so.
Not back out at the racetrack.
Right.
So we'll see.
I hope so. All right, we're pulling for you, and that's going to wrap it up. CJ, what are you working on? When's that RotoWire 500 report coming out?
We've got a trucks report for fantasy racing out there right now. Xfinity is going to be out there shortly, and then we'll have one up for the Daytona 500 as well, and then a recap of the 500 on Monday.
Trucks are tonight.
Trucks are tonight.
Excellent. Eric, you're going to be there for the trucks in person and Xfinity and the 500, correct?
Yep. I'll be leaving here. What time is it? Oh, yep. Probably leaving here about 15, 20 minutes to head over there. Got Xfinity practice. Have a recap. Have a truck race recap. Then I'll have reports from the track tomorrow for the Xfinity race, cup practice, and then my trends article coming out and the Daytona 500 coverage.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Great job as always. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the racing, and we'll see you next time.